Hello, this is JO83, and this is rather surprisingly the Monaco Grand Prix of my Sauber career mode, which is slightly annoying because obviously the last episode was Russia, and you might think, where's Spain gone? But unfortunately, my Elgato corrupted that race, so I couldn't bring it to you in the highlights. I did manage to get the results, and just about you can make them out slightly, but I finished 11th, and Raikkonen won the race, making it the first 5 races have all been won by Finns. You can see there, 11th place on the trophy room, and it was an okay race. My gearbox was a bit dodgy, like I lost third gear at one point. There you go, I finished 11th. I was defending from Hulkenberg basically the whole race, so it wasn't very exciting in terms of racing, but it was still decent. I did a 1-stop, mostly the AI did a 2-stop, so I did 17th to 11th. It was decent, but unfortunately just missed out on points once again, but it would have been even more frustrating if I'd have got points and not been able to record it. But we got a chassis upgrade as well, so that's good for the car, as I've been getting some suggestions of it running that chassis because it is diabolical, to say the least. But Monaco Grand Prix, I absolutely hate this track. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know how much I loathe it, and as you can see, I didn't change the gearbox because you get a penalty, and I'm stuck in second gear already. I was spamming A trying to shift up on my fuel efficiency, fuel economy practice program, and it just wasn't working, so unfortunately I had to take a penalty to change the gearbox. So if I was to get anywhere above 15th anyway, I'm now be starting basically last whatever happens. So that's really good. Now on the fuel economy program, the second time I do get a green score. I skipped over the acclimatization because we all know how it goes at this point. I got a purple score on that, I believe, or maybe green, I'm not quite sure. But then going at the end of the fuel economy, and Bottas has gone out my outside and completely taken me out of practice. So cheers for that, Valtteri, very well appreciated. And this is practice 2 now, after my team has fixed up my car, and I've got half a front wing already in 2 laps of practice, so it's good. It bodes well for the race, I think. And now coming across, I am going to get the 50 resource points for the for the race strategy program. And yeah, as I was saying, this track I hate so much. Even in a proper car, it's not very fun to drive, and in a Sauber, it's just a death trap because the Sauber has no grip, no aerodynamics at all. It's just see how if you can keep it out of the barriers or not. So coming through the practice program's qualifying pace, we got the target of 19th, and now. Oh no, I'm now going to upgrade the chassis, sorry. Before I got the durability thing to try and make all my engine parts a bit better, but obviously it didn't work with the gearbox. But the chassis part will be here in time for, I believe, Baku is a 2-week upgrade, it's a very big one. And oh dear, it's raining. So Q1, Monaco, heavy rain. This is going to be fun. And now I've used the flying lap feature, and my AI can't even drive this weather. What am I going to do? This is my AI driving at the minute, and it's just steered me into a wall and lost half a front wing before I even started. So if I was going to, it probably won't really make a difference because I was going to lose it anyway, but my AI has managed to crash me into a wall, showing just how undrivable this Sauber is, and if the AI can't drive it, then how am I going to cope? As you can see, 5 red lights coming on now for me. I'm about to start driving properly, and I've already invalidated my time as well, so my AI has ruined this one, and I've ruined it even more by getting a tank slapper. But now later in the session I decided to put on inters, as it's cleared up a little bit with 2 minutes left in the session. This is my fastest lap. I'm currently over a second up, almost 2 seconds up on my previous time. I'm currently last place, as you would expect in these conditions, but now coming across the line, I'm going to move up into 8th place. Wow, that is very high, unknown territory for the Sauber boys in 8th place, but I'm into Q2, so that is quite surprising, to say the least. And now in Q2, for the first time this season, I'm on the ultra soft tyres, as it just dried out at the end of the session again, so change of weather right at the end, as we saw in Q1. So can this maybe catapult me into Q3? That would be a tall order, but it might be doable. I've left quite a lot of this lap in, as it was pretty decent, I think. I've got a car behind me of, I don't quite know, I believe it's a Mercedes. And coming around the final corner, and Raskas, sorry, and now Anthony knows. And I'm 14th in a minute. Hamilton's behind me in the standings, and I believe he's behind me on the track as well. So coming across the line, we go 13th. So that's all right. I'll take that. 13th place. Obviously, it's going to become 18th on the grid, but that's still not last. So it's better than the previous few races. And even with the grid penalty, it's still my highest grid position. So 13th place on the grid. Vettel and Sainz, the absolute cheats, did 18.7 and 19 dead lap times. So I'm seeing those laps. Nice track limits there by Vettel and Sainz. And Hamilton set a lap on inters and came 15th. So that's a bit questionable. But now the grid order, Sebastian Vettel on pole position with his teammate Kimi Raikkonen making it a Ferrari 1-2. And I'll leave Crofty to take down the rest of the grid.
Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Hulkenberg, Kevin Magnussen, and Alonso, Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen, and Felipe Massa, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Carlos Sainz, and Grosjean, Palmer, Ocon, Pascal Wehrlein, and the Sauber, Stroll, and Stoffel van Dorn completes the grid.
So as you can see, the grid is completely messed up, and I think over half the grid had penalties, but as you can see the weather's also messed up. It's going to start raining at the end, so I'm putting on softs, just trying to take it to the rain period, but it's rather annoying. If I didn't change the gearbox, I would have been probably about 6th if I didn't go by those penalties, but now 5 red lights are coming on for the Monaco Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go from 18th on the grid. I'm behind my team at Verline, who didn't have a grid penalty, unfortunately, for me. But here we go into turn 1. Stroll's up the inside, who qualified 19th, disappointingly. And Stroll has overtaken me, and he's on alongside Verline. We're going to try and do a switchback, but it hasn't paid off. I've stuck myself in 4th by accident. And there's a yellow flag out. I'm not quite sure who that's for, as no one's actually stopped. But that is a bit questionable. I'm already dropping back from the back of Stroll. I'm going around outside now, and the virtual safety car came out. So unfortunately, I couldn't actually overtake Stroll there because the virtual safety car stopped my overtake. And now it is ending, and I've massively dropped off the back because I'm just slow and can't even keep up with the delta. But now going through the swimming pool chicane on the still lap 1 as the virtual safety car's in already, and Stroll is stuck behind Pascal Verline. I'm going to see if I can dive bomb up the inside of Raskas. How many cars can we get past that? It's Ocon, Verline, Stroll, maybe even Grosjean as well. We're going up the inside of Anthony Nose and force him onto the curb. No wall contact made, but we make wheel-to-wheel contact with the Frenchman at basically his home Grand Prix, and he's going to go up the inside though. Romain Grosjean does a switchback move and up the inside of turn 1 and Santival, and he makes contact with me, almost forcing me into a wall there, and that was very close, but Grosjean takes that position back. But now onto lap 5, as you probably know, Monaco is basically track position means you're not going to be able to overtake unless you're Romain Grosjean. But you can see Grosjean has completely run away already in just 4 laps, and I've dinked my front wing. That's good. As well as my, I think my control unit or something is very badly damaged. I've got a puncture. What? I didn't notice that, and I didn't notice that when I was driving either, I can assure you, and it's very difficult to see in a tunnel especially, so Ocon's gone right down the outside. I'm going to try and dive bomb it, not knowing I have a puncture, which is a bit stupid of me, as now I've realised I've got a puncture and I've spun, so yeah, that's gone very well, and I've lost the front wing, so yeah, this has gone diabolically, and Hamilton's last, Alonso's last as well, so that's not gone very well. This puncture is really delaminating. It's very, very different to the punctures you see on F1 2016, so that's very interesting to see. And I'm going to the pits, put on a set of ultra softs just to see what happens really, so that's not gone very well for me. And as you can probably tell, as you probably assumed, the rest of the race didn't go very well for me either. So lap 5, coming out the pits, I've almost a lap down. You can just see coming down the pit straight on a mini lap, there will be a couple of Ferraris in just a second. Here comes Vettel, and Raikkonen's still in 2nd place as well, and I've been lapped by the pair of them in the pits, so that's not gone very well for me. And now on lap 6, I turned it too early, and that is the end of that. So apologies, I think I'll begin with to say, but yeah, Monaco, as I said, it's my least favourite track on the calendar. You can probably see why by now. And that's the end of my race, and I lasted 6 laps, not even that, just less than 6 laps, but as Vettel wins, makes it the first driver who's not a Finn to win a race this season, which I think is pretty impressive, as Bottas won the first 3 and Raikkonen just got 2 in a row. But now Vettel, the German, wins the race in Monaco, with Ricciardo 3rd and Kimi Raikkonen rounding off the Ferrari 1-2 in 2nd place. And yeah, I do apologise for this episode as like Spain corrupted. I couldn't do anything about that. And in Monaco, it was always going to end up something like this. I just absolutely hate it. And not a surprise to me that I crashed. But then Ricciardo, Bottas, Verstappen, Felipe Massa in 6th, Hamilton, Perez, Kvyat and Magnussen rounding out the top 10. I was DNF, and Verline finished 1 minute and 56 down in 19th place. So not a good day for the Saubers. And let's have a look at the race stand at the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors. And I am dropped down behind Kevin Magnussen into 16th because he scored a point and I didn't today, which is a bit annoying. And Constructors, we're in 9th still. Yeah, that's basically what we can aim for if McLaren don't score points at all. But we've got a few upgrades coming. Who knows? We could make a bit of a leap. But everyone hates me, as you can see from the team approval. Not really surprised, as I accidentally dive bombed a Force India when I had a puncture, which was really intelligent. And because I accidentally messed up that episode, I decided that I would do one of the classic events. As you may have noticed, at the end of the Russian Grand Prix, I accidentally skipped over. I didn't have time to record it at that point, so I pressed back on that event and missed the classic event, and then didn't get a chance to do it before Spain either. So I'm doing it now in the 1991 McLaren. So starting 6th, I've got to try and do 3 laps of the Austrian track in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. And that should be almost doable. It's a very short lap, so we'll give it our best shot. And on lap 1 already, this car is probably the worst classic car, I believe. It's definitely not one of the good ones. But Austria is one of my favourite tracks, and I'm reasonably good at it with no assists. I managed to beat Limitless and CRU in a sprint lobby around Austria. That's my claim to fame so far on F1 2017. And this car in front of me, Atier, the fake name that this game seems to love. He's in a Williams, I believe, yes it is. And we're going to go diving up the inside off turn 3 and block at the front right, but it's a decent overtake still, up into 5th. And the cars are just here as distractions really. The only thing that matters is the timing. And onto the end of lap 2 now. And we have 2 cars ahead of me, Kaufman and Sarri. So more fake names, which we all love to see in the Williams and the Ferrari car. We're going to go up the inside of the Williams, who didn't really put up a fight, and neither the Ferrari is next in line. Can we go up this inside into turn 1? It's going to be very, very close. Obviously no DRS in these classic cars because they're classics. Up the inside of the Ferrari into turn 1, forcing out and take that position into 3rd place. But we have just over a minute and 10 seconds to do the whole lap. This is going to be close. And coming up the straight towards turn 2, these cars are very much slower than the 2017 cars, so it's a little bit weird to go so quickly from the really quick 2017 cars into these cars. But going through turn 2, no oversteer or anything, so decent run through there in this McLaren, the 1991 McLaren. And I don't think there's a chance of me catching the front 2 cars really, but it doesn't matter, as I said, it's just about the timing. So only 35 seconds left now at this point, so that's not good. It's going very, very close. We've still got the second sector, or the final sector to do, sorry, and half a minute to go through turn 5 and turn 6, the good part of the Austrian track. Very, very good save there, if I do say so myself, around that corner. I got on the curb quite a lot, which puts off these cars quite a lot. And now through the next few corners, we've just got 15 seconds to do the last 2 corners. Can we manage it? It's going to be very, very close in this classic car event. And shift down to 4th gear for the final few corners, around the first one, and now down to 3rd for the second corner of the final 2, and coming towards the line. It's going to be very close. 3 seconds left. Can we make it? 2 seconds, 1 second, and we've crossed the line and just about made it in time with 1 second to spare. That is about as close as you want to be, and I've just about completed that challenge, the time attack, I believe it is, or something like that, and we completed it at 3 minutes 51. So that is very nice indeed. Hopefully that will help in my main career mode. I know there's those weird things which it does help with, but that is going to be the end of this video. Leave a like if you liked it. Apologies for what happened with all the breaking of things, and yeah, subscribe if you want to see more episodes. I'll try and I will get Canada up tomorrow unless something goes really badly wrong. But this has been J183. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.